Just so much pain. So much pain. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. We're breaking down the 3-game NBA DFS slate on Tuesday. This is the first time watching. Cover content for daily fantasy sports and for player prop sites like PrizePicks, Underdog, and Parlay Play. If you guys are looking for more content for DFS or for prop stuff, you can check my Patreon link down below. We've had a really good month. And we did hit both our YouTube plays that we uploaded today. Jalen Williams, we took his over points, and Kyle Kuzma, we took his under rebounds. If you guys tailed that was a pretty easy cash. And so let's get into the recap and the reasons why I am so tilted. So many things, too. Ooh. So, Dinwiddie injury early on in the game. Done for the day. My take, obviously, I wanted to go heavy on the Nets. Other two Nets I played, Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, absolutely smashed. 1 to 2% owned Chet Holmgren. Absolutely breaking the slate. Random massive foul trouble. Barely plays the second half. Picks up four quick ones early in the second half. Checks out for a while. Checks back in end of the third quarter. You better believe it's number 5 right away. Back to the bench, never comes back in. To punish the Chet Sharks, he was on pace for easily 50 plus. He's basically done at halftime. The Pelicans, smashing, right? Super sharp players went heavy on the Pelicans once we got news, the late news that Ingram was out, right? And we talked about that, how Pelicans are all going to be way under-owned because this is late, unexpected news. So I told everyone the right move here is to go heavy on the Pelicans. I play JV, I play CJ. Both are smashing random massive blowout. Barely plays in the fourth quarter. Jalen Williams, massive blowout there. He doesn't play. He doesn't come back in the fourth. And Asur Thompson smashed in a blowout. I'm so mad. Literally, I like basically nail the slate and I get punished. Injury, massive foul trouble, massive blowout, right? If Chet doesn't get in random massive foul trouble, he's going for 50 plus. CJ, JV, without the blowout, CJ probably goes for 45. JV probably is in the mid-30s. I'm just in so much pain, man. So much pain. I'm so tilted right now. Oh. You guys missed the tilts. Well, they're back. Gosh, I'm so upset because it should have been a huge night and just get punished with horrific variance. Again, adding to the proof, right? No one runs worse. All right, before we get into the player breakdown, let's take a look at these Vegas odds. So we have the Knicks and the Cavs, pretty gross game, projected 214 over-under. Spurs and Suns, about a 227 over-under, and the Magic and Clippers, about a 220 over-under. We're taking a look at the spread for these games. About a 2.5-point spread there for the Knicks and Cavs, 7-point spread for the Spurs and Suns, and about 7-point spread for the Clippers and Magic. So a little bit of blowout risk in the two late games. What you guys are looking at is the OddsJam Sportsbook screen, basically showing you if you wanted to bet the game, which book offers the best odds, also offers the average odds. If you're serious about making money sports gambling, highly recommend it. They have a lot of tools. Again, I've showed off a few of them. Fantasy Optimizer is one of their most popular tools. For sites like PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play, basically giving you the percent chance to hit. So check them out. If you guys are interested, you can use the code DKDFS for 25% off your first month. I will also have it linked in the description. All right, so hopefully we can avoid injuries, massive foul trouble, and massive blowouts in this 3-game slate. But yeah, man, this one hurts. This one hurts because I was looking so good, and then Dinwiddie injury, Chet massive foul trouble, Pelicans random massive blowout. The Pelicans were so under-owned too, man. Again, if we had known the Ingram news before lock, CJ would have been like 50+% owned. That's why I'm just so upset because, of course they get blown out. Oh, all right. Knicks and Cavs is the first game here. So on the Knicks side, honestly, there's no one that stands out to me on the Knicks. The Cavs, a decent defensive team. Again, they are missing a couple pieces, but Randall at 8K, I think feels a little bit too cheap. He has not shot the ball the best either to start the season. 5 of 22, 4 of 10, and 4 of 15. I think he's reasonable. I think Brunson's reasonable at 7-7 as well. I wouldn't call either priorities, but they're both like fine plays. And same with Barrett at 6-2. Should see low 30s minutes. So if you want to, plug in one of the main guys from the Knicks, I'm not going to say no, but I'm also not prioritizing these guys. They're kind of just filler plays for me on this slate. Quickly, 5.3K, he'll come off the bench, probably see low 20s minutes. He does have a ceiling. Last game, he struggled a bit. He's fine for tournaments. Mitchell Robinson, I would say, is probably the easiest guy to get to on the Knicks, in my opinion, as long as he stays out of foul trouble. 38 minutes 2 games ago, 29 minutes last game. Obviously, good rebounder, good shot blocker. So I think Mitchell Robinson would probably be my favorite play on the Knicks. And then value-wise, a lot of these guys look pretty similar. Josh Hart's been playing low 20s minutes. Again, indifferent on him. Quentin Grimes should see mid-20s minutes, but he's not going to be super productive playing with the other starters. Even Shenzo probably sees around 20 minutes. And then Isaiah Hartenstein will play the backup 5. So, I wish I had better breakdown for the Knicks, but basically everyone in the rotation outside of Mitchell Robinson are all kind of just okay, if you land on them, sure. But yeah, there's no priorities here for me on the Knicks. Let's move on to Cleveland. Cavs are a team I have a lot more interest in. So no Garland, no Jared Allen, and we'll see about the status of Donovan Mitchell. Now, Donovan Mitchell practiced on Monday. I don't think if he was really banged up that he would have practiced. So my guess is that he does play. We will see. We'll talk about it 2 different ways. Let's first talk about if he misses. If he misses, I am once again pushing my chips all in on the Cavs. They would still be underpriced. They're so short-handed, and they were in such a tight rotation last game. Last game with Donovan Mitchell out, Mobley, he should see mid-30s minutes. He dealt with a bit of foul trouble. Karis LeVert played 44 minutes, went crazy. Max Strus played 42 minutes. Isaac Okoro played 35 minutes. Dean Wade played 37 minutes. You're just not seeing that type of run from any of these teams on this slate. So, I'd be really, really high on the Cavs. Niang would see some minutes off the bench. They split the backup center position with Thompson and Damian Jones. And you even saw a little bit of Amani Bates, a little bit of Sam Merrill, a little bit of Craig Porter. But I would just expect huge minutes for the main guys once again. So it'd be really high on all the guys. Mobley and LeVert would be my 2 favorite options, but Strus is playing huge minutes this season. Okoro, even though he's not the best point per minute guy, would play a ton. Dean Wade would play a ton, same thing, not the best point per minute guy. But yeah, there'd be a lot to like for the Cavs. Now, if Donovan Mitchell does play, then I'm still a lot of these Cavs value plays. And then Mitchell would be, in my opinion, one of the best bet-ups on the board. Would be the clear go-to guy, would probably play high 30s minutes. So would really like Mitchell there. And still like a lot of the Cavs. It would be interesting to see what they do with the starting lineup, if they shift LeVert back to the bench or if they move someone else back to the bench. But either way, if Mitchell plays or not, I still really like Cleveland on this 3-game slate. All right, San Antonio and Phoenix. So Spurs got blown out last game by the Clippers. Now they're going on the road against Phoenix. However, no Beal, no Booker. I do think there's a chance that this Spurs team can keep the game competitive. Wembayama, 7.9K. Obviously, the minutes have not been amazing on him. Got a pretty wide range of outcomes, but the ceiling is there. Same thing I said about Chet last night. I really like, Chet's range of outcomes is wide, but the ceiling's there, right? So at a sub 8K price point, I like his upside quite a bit. Vassell and Keldon Johnson are kind of secondary plays for me. In a competitive game, I would expect 30 plus minutes from both these guys. So they're filler options for me. I'm not going to prioritize either. Once again, I am high on Zach Collins. He's been stuffed in the stat sheet. Hasn't really shot the ball the best. He did finally make it 3, but I think he's a pretty safe play. Should see around 30 minutes, low 30s minutes in a competitive game, assuming no foul trouble. Jeremy Sohan will play the point guard position. He had an off game last game, but again, they got destroyed. I think he's a relatively safe play. Trey Jones should see mid-20s minutes on the bench. I think he's a decent option as well. Other guys off the bench, I think Chetty Osman is interesting for salary relief. I would expect low 20s minutes from him. He's played pretty well so far on the Spurs, so I do have a little bit of interest in him. Bassey, he'll play the backup 5. Played 16 minutes last game. I think he's an okay punt play if you need some salary relief. Probably wouldn't get to McDermott, though, or Branham. Branham is really, really cheap, but I think I would give the edge to Chetty over Branham if I had to pick between those 2. And now talking Phoenix. So Phoenix is another team that I'm pretty high on, right? Phoenix and Cleveland are the 2 teams that are the most shorthanded on the slate. No Beal. Booker's doubtful, so hard not to like Kevin Durant. I know the price has come up on him, but still think he's one of the best bet-ups on this slate. Really do like KD. My boy Nurkic, I think, is a bit underpriced in a competitive game. I would expect high 20s minutes from him. And honestly, probably will be the number 2 on offense. Him and Eric Gordon without Beal and without Booker. So I do like Nurkic. Gordon at 5'2". I still think is a good play in the mid-range. He played 26 minutes last game. Would expect low 30s minutes from him. He's going to play the point guard position. Had 4 assists last game. I would be high on Jordan Goodwin, or I am high on Jordan Goodwin too. He should see mid-20s minutes off the bench. I'm high on Grayson Allen, who played 31 minutes. Okogie dealt with a little bit of foul trouble, but he should see close to 30 minutes. So once again, I think there's a lot to like here for the Suns. Value. Again, Gordon, Goodwin, Allen, Okogie all look pretty good. I don't even hate Drew Eubanks at 3.7. He's been seeing high teens minutes, and he's about a fantasy point per minute guy. So if you give him 18 to 20 minutes, he's going to stand out as a pretty good point per dollar value on the slate. Watanabe, the only other guy I'll mention in this rotation, I would expect high teens minutes from him. I think I would rather take the shot on Eubanks if I'm going to punt with one of those two, but Watanabe still will see some minutes. You might see a rotation or two from Nasir Little, but not enough for me to get to him. And finally, the Magic and the Clippers. So for the Magic, not a lot has changed for me for my breakdown from last night. Banchero, Franz Wagner, both guys have a ceiling. I think factoring in salary, maybe a slight edge to Franz over Paolo. Paolo also dealt with some foul trouble. He's in a bit of foul trouble tonight. Carter Jr., 5.7K. I would expect high 20s minutes from him. The guards look pretty similar in Fultz, Anthony, and Suggs. I think it's going to come down to ownership for me on a small slate, or if I'm going to play one of the Magic guards, right, with these three. Well, let's just say, for example, a lot of the field gravitates towards Cole Anthony. Well, then I'm going to go to Markelle Fultz. And this has kind of been the same thing with the Bulls, right? When the main 3 Bulls guys play, I always prefer which one is the lowest owned. Well, 2 slates ago, it was Zach LaVine. I said, hey, no one's going to click LaVine. If I'm going to play one, it would be him. He had a career game. Tonight, Vucevic was the lowest owned. I said, okay, if I'm going to play Bull, it's going to be Vucevic. He smashed. Now, again, not every time you click the low-owned guy, they're going to smash. But if they all look similar, and I think Fultz, Anthony, and Suggs all look similar, then if I do play one, I'm probably going to click whichever one is the lowest owned. Mo Wagner, he'll play the backup 5. I think he's interesting. Good point per minute guy. If you think they, somewhat limit the minutes of Carter Jr. or get some foul trouble or whatever, Mo Wagner is viable. And then other guys rounding out the bench rotation, Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac, Joe Ingles. Would expect high teens minutes for Ingles and Harris, and probably about 10 or so minutes for Jonathan Isaac. All right, finally the Clippers. So Clippers are another team. We have a couple pieces of news to keep an eye on here. Zubac is questionable. Norman Powell is questionable. Mann is out. The top 3 guys, assuming this game can stay competitive, I think all look really good. Paul George, 8.6. Kawhi Leonard, 8.5. Russell Westbrook, 7.1K. I think they're all a bit underpriced. Again, as long as this game stays competitive, all 3 of those guys should play 30-plus minutes. Now, if Zubac is out, Plumlee would most likely start. If Plumlee starts, he'd be one of the better values in the board. And you probably would get, small ball backup 5 of Covington and Nick Batum. So they would look better if there's no Zubac. Norman Powell, also questionable. If he does not play, Bones Highland should see more run. And again, kind of run that second unit. So Bones would look a lot better if there's no Norman Powell. Again, with Covington and Batum, they're both okay options. If Powell and Zubac are in, they'd look way better if they're both out, because I would just be way more confident in both their minutes. And then if there's no Powell and there's no Zubac, you're going to get someone added to the rotation, right? So Kawhi's, let's just assume both those guys are out, right? Paul George 1, Kawhi 2, Westbrook 3, Plumlee 4, Bones 5, Covington 6, Batum 7. I think KJ Martin will see some minutes 8, and then I think they probably will dust off maybe Amir Coffey sees a little bit of run as the 9th guy. But yeah, would feel again a lot better about the minutes for Covington and Batum. And then if Zubac plays, I like his ceiling in GPPs, production up and down. They kind of go small ball. There is risk, but definitely a guy that has upside. And then Norman Powell, if he does play, I think will also be a good tournament play. I think if he does play, similar to what I said about the Magic guards with him versus Bones Highland, right? You got a 4.4K Norman Powell and a 4.3K Bones Highland. If I'm going to pick between the two, I think I would lean towards whichever one's going to be lower owned, because I think if Powell plays, they look very, very similar to me. All right, guys, I know that was a bit of a shorter video, but only 3 games. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We have Taco Tuesday tomorrow. Excited for that. But yeah, other than that, enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you all in the next video.